Good evening. Welcome to Epiphany Lutheran Church in Richmond, Virginia. I'm Kevin Barger, the Director of Music Ministry, and this is our Music Minute where we take a look at the hymns for worship in tomorrow's services. We will be starting with Lord of Light, and this is a hymn that was written to a tune that you'll probably recognize. Lord, you give the Great Commission, Lord of Light, God is here. There's a bunch of different things that we use the Abbott's Lee tune for. But the actual text of this, Lord of Light, has an interesting background. Charlotte Elliott actually wrote a poem called My God and Father While I Stray. And that poem was praying that while a person is in darkness of whatever variety, that they do not complain. And so each stanza concluded with a petition from the Lord's Prayer. Father, as in highest heaven, so on earth will your will be done. And each stanza concluded with that. And what was interesting about that was, while it was a God-centered text, and everybody kind of agreed to that, there was a weakness in it because it stressed resignation to God's will without the necessity of being an active participant in that will and what was happening. So Hal Lewis came along and took this poem that Charlotte Elliott had written, and he wrote a different one trying to maintain the integrity of that original one. But what he did was he used the same Lord's Prayer petition, and now it was used to fulfill the purpose in the gift of Christ, your Son. So it was kind of taking care of that weakness that we saw earlier. So the refrain that you'll hear in that petition is again, Father, as in highest heaven, so on earth your will be done. And this is a jazz version of Lord of Light. So you might have had to look a little bit harder in that to find the melody, but it was there. We're going to move on next to our hymn of the day, and it's from our new hymnal supplement, All Creation Sings. This is called Commonwealth is God's Commandment. And this hymn's refrain includes words that mean peace from other religious traditions. And those include Shanti, which is used in Hindu and Buddhist traditions, Pax, which is Latin, and Then Shalom, Hebrew, and that's means peace or wholeness. And then we have Muslaha, that's Arabic, and it means reconciliation. So the word share is used in the Bible more than 100 times. Hospitality is a hallmark of the followers of Jesus, and this new hymn text encourages us to not only share and open our doors and tables to both neighbors and strangers, but also to pray for peace in several languages. So our common good is indeed holy ground. So this is sung to a tune. Restoration is the tune, and it's probably one that you recognize from maybe Lent when we would sing this. And this is a very nice hymn. So let's enjoy Restoration. Just a fun version of that. Maybe not very peaceful, as it's suggested in the words. Last but not least, our sending hymn tomorrow is God of Grace and God of Glory. And this was written while its author was vacationing in Maine, and he was a pastor. And he was writing this for the opening of Riverside Church in New York City. And this was a big church. This was in 1930, I think it was. It cost about $5 million in that day, and it seated 1,800 people in the sanctuary. So he really describes this hymn as being designed as a personal prayer for him, but it brought out sort of this, God of grace, God of glory, and all the things that you're thinking of as you go to a new building and a new sanctuary, and what this means for you, and that sort of thing. He was well known as a preacher on the radio at the time as well, and the hymn was actually written with a different tune in mind. He thought this was going to be written to the tune Regent Square, which you might recognize as Angels from the Realms of Glory. But once he had that done, then there was a different tune, CWM Rhonda, which is what we are going to sing it to, and that really fit a little bit better, and the Methodists are actually who we have to thank for making that happen. So he made some comment about divorcing his plans for the first tune and moving to the second tune. It was sort of a big deal, but this is the one we know, God of Grace and God of Glory. bet you recognize that. So I hope you enjoyed that this evening. And if you're joining us for worship tomorrow, online, of course, is at 10:30 on our YouTube channel. And in person, we'll be back to 2 services tomorrow, so one at 8:30 and one at 11. And as always, we ask that you wear masks when you attend those services, as we do have singing, and we want to be able to be safe and keep doing that. So we look forward to seeing you at one of our services. Thanks. Have a good evening.